Okay, what I want to show you here is this is what they call a pitcher pump, and as you can see, we use this up north for pumping water from our well, but as you can see, that one's not going. We couldn't get any water going out of it, so I was just going to show you how to replace the leather seal. It's got a leather seal down in it, and so one of the first things you're going to want to do is remove this top. It's just got a screw, two here that I've already got out, and that top's going to pull off. And as you can see, that seal's pretty shot there. No help in that. There's a new one in the package. And here's the new one I'll be putting on. I soaked this, poured a little bit of baby oil on it to soften that leather up just a little bit to go inside. But anyway, I'm going to show you how that goes on that. What you want to do, there's a couple different kinds of stems that go in these pumps. So I wanted to show you that this is the style where this piece here has to turn off. And sometimes you might have to lock that in a vise and then try to turn this piece. Normally, if you can get on it correctly, I want to get on it so you can see. Going to unscrew like that, and then that's the seal. And of course, obviously, that baby's been around a long time, and that seal goes up like that, and it goes on like that. It would seem like it should go down like that, like a tire pump type of thing, but it's not. And then this is just a check valve that sets down in there, so as you try to prime it, all the water ain't going right down. It'll hold water long enough to get it to prime. Just an internal check valve. So that's going to go back on like that. So turn this around. Tight. Got the baby oil there on it. That helps to get it to go into the chamber there. So that's how you do on that seal. That's pretty easy on that. This kit comes as a two-piece kit. You got that. And what I want to show you here is down in here there's also another check valve type of thing is what that is. Hopefully you can see down in there. But you also have to pull this apart right here at this base to replace that gasket. I've had this apart at that base already. So basically all you'd have, this one here is a 3/8. Screw for that. So what I want to show you here. Now when the old gasket's on here, of course it'll be like that, and it's going to be no good like the one on this one was. They usually rot out right here at this little thing, then that check valve don't work, and then eventually they dry up and shrink and fall inside this groove where it seals it.
But anyway, you'd have to just scrape all that off if there's any old gasket on that.
Just make sure that piece there is clean. And once you've got that, with this new piece, this would normally go down, you know, so it's faced with the smooth side up and I guess I'd call it the rough side down. And this thing here just goes on like that, and it's usually that tab just kind of lined up with that, so the weight is going forward on it. And the bolt just goes through there, and there's just a little flat washer. And sometimes that screw's kind of rusted. This one here I lucked out. I was able to, it's usually squared out, you know, for the screw so it don't spin, but sometimes they'll still spin because the cast rust out over time. But anyway, on that, and once you get that tight, and this one here, that is it for that. Now this would stand up like that, and that's actually the front of the pump right there like that. The round part, the square part, as you see here, that's usually the back of the pump where the handle's at. And then that just sits on there like that in the center. But you got all that there. And then of course this here, and then what I've done here on the inside of this, you may be able to see down through, I've also just taken a little bit of this baby oil here and just kind of squirt it down inside there and get it to run all through so that it's coated. What you want to do with that, just get that on there, and this will fit right in that groove. It's perfect size to fit down in there. Put that in there. This is a 3/8 bolt with a 9/16 head on the bolt, but 5/8 nut on the bottom, but the bottom, the nut locks in so it don't spin. Snug it down good so you know you've made a good tight water seal. And I also put baby oil on that, soak that. Here's what they look like when they're new. They're kind of bright. And like I say, just put some baby oil on it. And Menards has these. They're like $9 for that kit. So if you happen to have one of these pitcher pumps and it's not working and you got to replace the seals, it's pretty easy on that. I've got this one back together. A little more of that baby oil on it there. So now, and you're going to have to force it to get it back in with a new seal on it. You might even, if you have to, you might have to put it in a vise or something, but usually if you can get it to stand good, you can force it down in there pretty good. And this is a 12 mil here. Just kind of line that up just so you're not scraping all along the sides as it pumps. And this one has two on this particular pump. Or I should say it's got two screws in the front. One screw in the back. Snug that one up now. Keep the top from pulling. That is it. And that is it. I was having that thing done. Look at a little snug down there. Okay, and now to move it, and that's where the baby oil down in the cylinder helps, and on that leather, because you're not starting everything out dry. So, oh yeah, you can already hear it wanting to pump. So that one is done. I've got another one here, and this one here. Same ordeal on this. And of course that's that one's only got the single bolt on the back. Yeah, oh, and that was broke, so I'm going to have to fix that. And then down in there, if you can see, there's that same style check valve thing again, only that one's all dried out, falling out, and the other one was gone completely. So what I'm going to have to do, take that stem off in here, and of course this one's got bolts up here, and the other one has pins with cotter keys. And then this one, now where'd that piece go? I just want to show you, it's a little bit different style. This one has the cage like that, and I'm going to weld that. And then in order to change that rubber gasket, you've got to pull this stem. And normally they'd all be together in one piece. Get that stem pulled, then that cage would come off like that. And then you have your gasket on that. And it may be stuck on there. You might have to get something to pry it off. And this one, that's the check valve thing there too. There it goes. And of course, you can see on that one, and that's the check valve setup that had. So now, I'm going to put this in the vise. I know it's cast iron, but I can weld it good enough to, got some cast iron stick rod, but I think I'm just going to wire it, and I think it'll be good enough to hold for what it's got to hold. But that's a little bit different style than what the other one was. Nuts off. Yeah, and there, as you can see, the base, you'll want to clean that up a little bit if it's not, you know, if it's got a little gasket stuck on it. And of course, here's that other gasket. And this one's still attached to the thing, obviously. The new one's like way bigger. That's how much that has shrunk. Because originally it was the diameter of that right there. You know, of that base. That was how big it was. And then over the years, that's how much that shrunk. And you can see some of the old rib. Because this is the little rim that actually pinches down on that gasket. Just like that. And that's how that would look inside there, looking at it from bottom up. Anyway, that's that for that. And this one here. And baby oil works good. And just pour it in there and let it kind of fill that cylinder. And the thing with baby oil, it's be safe to use. It'll wash right away with the water once you start pumping it versus using any kind of petroleum-based type of lubricant. But anyway, that's all set there. And you can see how that darkened it right up with the baby oil on it. Now, that was even a smaller one, so what I've got to do now is take that apart so that I can get that, and then weld this, and then I can get this one back together. Okay, well, I'm going to head over here to the welder real quick for this piece. Alrighty, so now I have my piece. Weld it up there. So that puts that back together. And like I say, it is cast, but this will hold because there's not a lot of like heavy type pressure on it. So now on this one here, I thought I might have to. There we go. Just like that. And what that does is I'm tightening that down. That is squishing this down and squashing that gasket good and tight. Get that off in there. So there we have it. It looks like it might be. Alright. So 8mm or something. That's exactly what it is. So the 8 there. Yes, it is an 8 also on that side, so hey, look at that. I'm really surprised both of them screws came undone good. Alright. And as you can see, that one pretty much shot. So now I'll put a little bit of season on this. Then, like I say, that side will go down. This is the top side of the check valve on this one here. So it'll just go on that smooth part. And that usually just lines up to there just to help for the weight of the hinge. I guess I'd call it a hinge made out of leather. There should be a flat washer on this. That one didn't have it. On that, so that'll hold the bottom of the gasket better. Turn that. That gasket light's flat, and that just goes on like that. Right there, like I say, I'm gonna put a little more Vaseline, a little more baby oil. Cleans a lot of that rust. That's a nice, good, clean, smooth surface. So just press that down in there, and like I say, that would go like that. What happens every time is you pump that, that comes up to let water in, but it keeps, when you try to prime, you'll be filling, of course, you know, you're filling this cylinder, and that's holding the water, and if you didn't have that on, the water would just continue to go down the well, and you wouldn't be able to get the prime. But that's how that goes together. And then, as you can see, it's a lot wider and it sticks out past this piece, so that's how it's supposed to be. And then most of the time with these, the nuts and everything just lock right in. And either on the top side or the bottom side. This one, it looks like it's the top side. snugged up good. That'll create a good seal. Now, hopefully you can see down inside there, that's the new check valve seal. And actually, that baby oil, first time you pump water through it, it'll rinse right out, and it's way better than using now this here. I'm going to see if I can push it down in without the handle on, but if not, I'll have to put it on the handle and then push it down, because this is going to go in pretty hard, I would think, being the first time, but having the baby oil and everything on it's going to help it out immensely. So when it does go time for that to go down in there, I think it's going to have to push down. There we go. I want to pound on my hand. Okay, that's down. Tighten this back screw up here. That must have a groove that locks in on that, because the other one took screws in the front to hold the front of it down. And all I got to do is just line that back up. That's how it should be. You should be able to have the pump handle stay up if you leave it up. Okay, so yeah. And then every now and then, what you can do on these pumps when you're using them regular is just either you could pull this cover and just put a little baby oil, or just take some baby oil and, you know, squirt it down in through that hole there, and it's easy enough to pull that cover off and just put them down in there. That helps keep that leather good and worked up. But anyway, and that is the old one, as you can see. And that is it. Pitcher pump leather repair kit. Like I said, they got them right at Menards in stock. They're the only ones that carry them. Home Depot, Lowe's, and all of them didn't carry them. They could get them, but you had to order them. Menards had them right in stock, and they had 3 of them at the one I went to, so I bought 2 to fix both of these pumps. And that is it. That is how you replace those seals in the pitcher pump. And that's the check valve. This one, as you can see, we've got a check valve on it here. I screwed this on it years ago because that inside center one was bad. But at that time, the plunger and everything, the leather was still working good on that, because we couldn't get it to prime with that check valve going out. All the water would want to go. So I just screwed that style on it, and these babies are ready to pump some water. Anyway, thank you. If you have one of these style pumps and you need to fix it, it's about a $10 fix. Pretty easy to do. Other than that, that takes care of that.